This is the Sinner review for the non-limited anniversary Sinner Necresta Hela. She is a physical damage Sinner which we call 数字怪 or numbers monster, as the sheer multipliers on her kit are staggering. Pull recommendations in relation to all the other banners will be another video, but individually, all of Necresta Hela's shackles are good. S0 is complete, S1 is highly recommended due to it rapidly stacking her gauge, S3 is a very strong damage boost, and S5 is just a Mulder's dream shackle. Here is a simple kit translation by me. Necresta Hela will heal herself every second naturally and uses Lingering Souls to attack. Each attack from a Lingering Soul grants her a stack of Tethered Mania, which is a gauge that is currently unique to Necresta Hela. Using her ult expands her basic attack range to be a diamond shape, and it makes her deal 24% more damage with it, additionally up to 36% more based on her Tethered Mania gauge. It also makes all her basic attacks hit twice. As you can see, using her ult is very strong and it can also crit. So you may think, okay, so are we intended to play basic attack crit with Hela? Wrong. If we look at her P1, it is a follow-up attack, similar to the vibe of Ying Ying or Melee. When allied Sinners hit enemies with core damage, for each core damage dealt, Necresta Hela will use a Lingering Soul to pierce and hit in the line where the enemy was standing. This counts core damage, not actually breaking a core, so as long as the ult has core damage, such as Zero's ult dealing 3 core damage, each of those hits are counted. Furthermore, if Zero hits 2 enemies with her ult, 3 times 2 is 6, so Necresta Hela will instantly deal 6 hits of her P1. By the way, this counts towards stacking her gauge, as all attacks from Necresta Hela are dealt by Lingering Souls, including her P1. So Zero hitting 3 enemies with 1 ult instantly gives Hela 8 stacks. This means in fights, all you want to do is to spam core breaks from a Sinner such as Zero, Moor, or Labyrinth, and Hela will follow up with a huge amount of damage automatically. By the way, even if Hela is stunned, her P1 will still trigger. This means you can play Hela as either a basic attack crit or as a skill damage follow-up spam. Both paths are very strong, so use whichever that you like. Do note that her P1 does not trigger with things like Paradise Regain, summons like Olwo's Lion's Head or Eureka's Mines, or with Parfait considering 1 broken Umbra core to be 2 broken cores. Her P2 has a lot of words but is simple in concept. At 30 stacks of Tethered Mania, Necresta Hela does more damage. At 60 stacks, she will apply a fake core to enemies that are hit by her P1, and breaking that fake core is considered as breaking an Umbra core. At 90 stacks, Necresta Hela's basic attack can deal 1 core break. If a core damage happens, that enemy has a cooldown of 5 seconds until Necresta Hela can core break again on them. Necresta Hela can freely move and attack another enemy, and she will be able to core break that enemy. This means you can core break a whole map of 1 core enemies easily with Hela by just moving her around. It is very useful. Her ECB can be used anytime after she gets 90 Tethered Mania. She selects a tile and throws 8 hits of P1 through it in a ring, striking everything else that is in range as well. As you can only use this once, it is essentially a last hit ability to nuke down enemies. You can also use it at the start of the fight to quickly force her into her ult state with the empowered basic attack, or as an "oh no, I'm about to die" button, since it gives her 100% HP back, but you do have to be careful as she cannot be healed during the next 18 seconds and will keep draining her own health to basic attack. As for shackles, her S1 is extremely strong. Not only does it make every P1 trigger do an extra 60% damage, the extra hits count towards stacking the gauge. This means if Zero hits 3 enemies with her ult, Hela will immediately stack 16 gauge, making it extremely fast and easy to get her to full gauge. However, for some reason, while S1 benefits from the damage bonus of S3, it cannot stack S3 itself, though that isn't really a concern as S3 is super easy to stack with 1 or 2 ults from an allied core breaker or just using Hela's own ECB. S5 allows Hela to always be in her ult state and is a very big damage increase, but as if that's not enough, at max ult level and Tethered Mania gauge, it also gives all allies 30% bonus damage dealt. It's such a BS OP shackle, but at least it's for a Sinner that we all love. So how do you play her? With the crit basic attack route, you buff her with Sinners like Shin and Yelena to play into crit and normal attack damage, then let her mow down a target with how hard her basic attacks hit. With the skill damage follow-up spam, you buff attack and physical damage, bringing someone who can effectively deal many core breaks like Zero to trigger billions of P1 hits from Necresta Hela. both routes are viable and have hit 300 million damage in Tides of Ashes. Skill damage build has even gotten 300 million using the team Necresta Hela, Demon, LL, Zero, and you won't believe this, B rank Hela and Che. This is how strong our daughter has become after her journey. About team building. Despite the Umbra core feature with her fake cores, Necresta Hela is not forced to play into that team. Think of it as a bonus. She can play in it, but she doesn't have to. You can build a standard physical team around her with Moore, Cabernet, Enfer, Owo, Yelena, Zero, Nox, and so on. If you want to go for Umbra core, then you bring Moore, Zero, Parfait, Graves, or LL. With regards to Parfait specifically, S0 is fine in most content, but if you are locked into long fights, Parfait needs S1 for Zero to transfer stacks of credit to Necresta Hela. Otherwise, Necresta Hela cannot core break that many times fast enough against one boss because of the 5-second limit between each of her core damage. However, again, don't feel pressured to pull Parfait just for Necresta Hela, as she can play with other teams just fine. All in all, Necresta Hela is incredibly strong across various kinds of content, with multiple viable teams and builds. As she is not a limited sinner, S0 or S1 is recommended, as she's just outright really strong. But if you are not molding for high scores, you can wait for her rerun to pull shackles or just stay at low shackles. That's all for this video. Pull recommendations will be next, so see you in that video. Bye bye!